Through these again, this is 3,000 emails that have just been released on WikiLeaks. I want to bring in Democratic fundraiser and Hillary Clinton supporter Robert Zimmerman, along with Ron Nehring. He's former national campaign spokesperson for Ted Cruz. He is also a Republican strategist. To the undecideds, because we know how either side is going to view this. Hillary fans will say, don't care. Donald Trump fans will say, again, the whole thing is rigged, and it just shows what devil is in these details of the emails. But I will begin with you, Robert. I'm looking at some of these, everything from wiffle ball tournaments at Georgetown University to other stuff that, we've got our assignment desk working through these, but it just doesn't look good, especially on top of the FBI State Department quid pro quo accusations.
You know what doesn't look good? And you know what's going to impact undecided voters? And I spend a lot of time with them. And you know, I come out of that community in many respects, out of suburbia. The reality is what doesn't look good is the idea that we're allowing Vladimir Putin and Russia hacking our the emails in our country to destabilize our democracy. That's why, despite Donald Trump's efforts to, in fact, make such an issue of the WikiLeaks, in fact, realizing that Donald Trump is now praising Vladimir Putin as a leader and applauding his initiatives in many parts of the world, despite all this, Donald Trump is now polling, according to Fox News, at George McGovern levels in the polls. Not that this election's over, but this election's not going to be determined by watching Donald Trump exploit the fact that encourage Vladimir Putin to destabilize our democracy by stealing emails that no one can authenticate.
Ron, look, you've been at the Cruz campaign, you've looked at polls, you have been part of rough and tumble efforts on many sides through politics. Looking at yet another data dump, and again, we're not prepared at this very moment, since it literally just happened seconds ago, to give any of this information yet, because again, it also hasn't been validated. But how do you view these, and specifically some of the information that was released not by WikiLeaks but by the FBI, showing that somebody at the State Department tried very hard to promise people at the FBI some better positioning if they just kind of shoved under the carpet some of the Hillary Clinton classified stuff that she tried to get, or others tried to get on her behalf, unclassified?
Yeah, Hillary Clinton has very, very serious problems when it comes to public perception of her integrity, and it almost entirely is a result of her serious mishandling of not only the situation concerning her emails and her private email server, but also issues at the Clinton Foundation and like. And every single day that this narrative continues, whether it's perpetrated by WikiLeaks or by FBI releases or her own comments on the matter, that takes the eye off the ball. It's very dangerous for a campaign to be out of control in their own narrative. This is a big fight over the narrative right now. The Clinton campaign wants Donald Trump to be the issue, and the Trump campaign wants Hillary Clinton's integrity to be the issue. So now when you have this external factor of WikiLeaks...
And Ron, who's leading in all the polls right now? Tell me how that narrative is playing out. Let's understand.
Ron,
hold on a second.
That wasn't what the question. That wasn't what the question was. There's no doubt that Hillary Clinton has serious questions about her integrity. Now, it's certainly true that Donald Trump, whenever he says anything that takes attention away from Hillary Clinton's integrity and the questions surrounding her private email server and the FBI investigation, whenever he says things that takes the eye off of that ball, he's losing. But when the attention is on this, when Americans focus in on the integrity of Hillary Clinton, it does not help her. It definitely does not help her.
Ron, for a year and a half, the Republicans have tried to make an issue of Hillary Clinton, and in the most recent Fox News poll, she's polling better even on the character issues. And in every national poll, if you ask who's got the temperament and the leadership skills to be president,
and gentlemen,
Hillary Clinton's at 60% approval, Donald Trump's at 60% disapproval.
Okay, let me jump in here and say that I have at least one email. Again, we are trying to reach the Clinton campaign to see if they can validate these, but one of the Podesta emails where he's talking about responding to all kinds of issues when you're talking about the problems with the emails, etc. And he is saying, I'd say we will respond when appropriate, but we aren't going to let this kind of charade distract from what this campaign is about, and that is people. Again, so a lot of this is how to figure out to tackle the email issue. But we have some brand new swing state polls out. For which states, Brad? Can you tell me? Nevada and Ohio, and Donald Trump is tweeting these latest issues, and there's one about North Carolina, too, and we can put up the Trump. Here's Ohio. Donald Trump still leads by 4%, at least in Ohio, and he has just tweeted Let me put that up, too. He's saying new polls are good because the media has deceived the public by putting women front and center with made-up stories and lies and got caught.
Liz, this is called the 7 phases of political failure or political grief. First, of course, you attack the media. Then, on top of that, you claim there are conspiracies everywhere. Then, of course, Donald Trump accuses the FBI director of being treasonous. And now, of course, he's relying upon Vladimir Putin and Russia to destabilize our democracy.
Ron, I'm
it's
not sure.
Gonna work.
Ron, I'm not sure how he says it's a lie about on a videotape where he's on it saying those things. But there has been a pile-on where there have been a lot of claims that have not yet been substantiated, so to speak.
Look, I think this election in several of these key states, as we've seen with this latest polling information, this election is a lot closer than I thought it would be. And Trump has certainly not been running the campaign that I would have advised him to run. As a matter of fact, he should keep the focus on Hillary Clinton's integrity and what Donald Trump would positively do for the country as it relates to various policy proposals.
So close,
That's
Bob?
not the campaign.
I'll tell you why it's close. Because we're a divided country, and every presidential election we've witnessed over the past 2 decades has been close. But here's the difference.
Shouldn't
every
she be
election,
that much further ahead?
As a matter of fact,
I mean, she said that herself. Why aren't I 50 points ahead?
Well, people ask that question because Donald Trump is so unqualified. But we have a country that's divided. But the difference here is Hillary Clinton's talking about the future and talking about policies, and Donald Trump is talking about the women, and he's attacking the women who have accused him.
She's talking about the women too. But Ron, I'll give you the last word. When are we getting to the issues, and do we need Chris Wallace to do that come Wednesday night?
Well, I'd like to see 2 things on Wednesday night. First, I'd like to see Donald Trump do a 180 and handle this issue concerning the allegations against him completely differently. He should own up to his own past. He should say that he occupied a celebrity zone in the past and his boorish behavior was a part of that, but that he's turned a new page. Right now, he wants to focus on doing something positively for the country. He should not try to attack anybody who's made allegations against him. And then he should pivot to the policy differences between where he would take the country, reducing taxes, reducing the regulatory burden
you're
that is
asking
holding
Donald Trump to go from Andrew Dice Clay to Ronald Reagan. I don't think it's going to work.
Obamacare. That's what he should do. Whether he does that or not, that's an entirely different question.
You're
But
trying
that's what he should do
you're
and
trying
change
to
the
convert
focus.
Andrew Dice Clay, Ron.
Guys, we've got to run. And Ron, I think you're right. A lot of people have talked about should and versus what actually happens. We shall see Wednesday night. Once again, Ron Nehring, Republican strategist, and Robert Zimmerman, Democrat.